I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go, Wednesday, July 16th, another edition of the Daily Punch Up, and we have got a jam-packed show for you today on a Wednesday. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening live. We go live every single day at 10 a.m. We sign off at around 11:30 or so. Thank you for watching on Twitter and on YouTube. Also, you can listen to the live show on the Puck Sports mobile app. When we go dart, everything is podcasted. Did I say dart or dark? I think I said dart when I meant to say dark. Everything is podcasted up on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. Does not matter which one you listen to. And, of course, you can find everything up at pucksports.com. Sign up to become a Pucks Posse member, by the way. There at pucksports.com. Broadcasting live from the Limback Lumber Studios. They offer free deliveries, everything from home house packages to homeowner DIY projects. Largest stock moldings in the Northwest. All around great people. They've been doing it since 1930. They do it with a eye contact, a firm handshake, and a smile. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbacklumber.com. Follow me on the social media platforms, your favorite ones. Everyone loves them. Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky at Puck Sports, Puck_sports there on TikTok, and find us on Facebook there as well. Just search Puck Sports. Listen, Monday he was in Montana. Wednesday he's in another hotel room, and he's all brought to you by...
Hey, Puck, I'm at the Cloverleaf Island Inn in beautiful downtown Kennewick. I love the Tri-Cities. The Tri-Cities, they're underrated. I'm right on the river here, and I'm brought to you by a Clean Streak professional window and exterior cleaning service out of Oak Harbor on Whidbey Island, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. You know Brian Turner by now, don't you? Give Brian Turner a call, 360-395-5748. He'll do everything for you. He's got one capable crew. You won't believe it. He'll clean your roof. He'll unclog your gutters. He will pressure wash your driveway or your patio and your deck, and he'll even wash your windows too. He does it all. Brian Turner is the greatest. You can call him at that number I just gave you, 360-395-5748, or visit cleanstreak.com.
Okay, here we go. We've got the one and only Jim Moore in Tri-Cities. When are you making it back to Bend?
We're leaving as soon as we're done today. Probably later this afternoon. We'll make it back to Bend, and yeah, I'm coming back to Seattle though on Sunday.
Can't wait! Inform everyone about the trouble you got into at the Woods Bay Resort in Montana.
I didn't get into any trouble. I was minding my own business.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't get in trouble for letting the dog swim in the resort pool?
That was not me. That was my wife.
Oh, that was your wife that got in trouble.
I let Sky out of our room because I knew Kathy was just about done at the pool. And I thought, oh, she'd probably like to see Sky. And then she'll come back up with Sky to the hotel room. Well, she proceeds to let Sky into the pool area and thought, it's a black lab. Let's let her swim a little bit.
Yeah, why not? What
so
the
Sky
resort
swam a little bit. And then some guy came out on his deck and said, hey, get the dog out of the pool. Can you imagine the gall of that person?
So here's once again, you're playing the you and your wife are playing the victim again.
Yeah, I always play the victim when I'm not being passive aggressive. It's one or the other. Or I'm yelling at clouds or telling people to get off my lawn. I get confused because I go for a triple double almost every day of my life. Passive aggressive. Playing the victim.
Did anybody at the resort say anything? Did you get in trouble by the resort?
No, but we didn't say that we were going to have dogs in our room, and it was a pet unfriendly room, and they ended up charging us. We didn't see it until we left. We had it on the bill.
But that's your trick, though. You never, right? Or am I wrong? You never get the pet friendly hotel. You just kind of you roll the dice.
No, but I don't say that we have two dogs when we check in.
You always just say one. Okay.
We always say one.
All right.
Yeah. Because they gouge you. They charge you for two.
Sure.
Yeah.
So do you have to take one dog in at a time?
Yeah, we always do we don't go through the lobby. We always try and get a room on the end of the hotel so we can go in the side door.
God, you
I think
guys.
everybody who's a dog owner, don't you? At
I've
least
done it
once
before.
or twice.
I've done it. Sure, of course I've done it. But you and Kathy, a regular Bonnie and Clyde, you two.
Not really. Not really. We play loosely with the rules a little bit.
Oh, speaking of playing loosely with the rules, $20. Not
Oh,
10.
that's right. I got to Venmo that to you. I should only have to pay you 10, though.
No.
That was bullshit. That whole thing at the end of the All-Star game.
Hey,
did we know that was the way they were going to settle it?
You know what? I did not know that.
I didn't either.
But it goes in the official. I read it this morning. Richard Blum, Associated Press. It goes into the official scoring book as a 7-6 National League win. $20 to me, not 10, 20.
Don't you think, though, that I should just have to pay you half? Because that was such a bogus way to end the game. And then how about Kyle Schwarber being the MVP of the game when he hits 3 home runs off of some schlep, that's out there just serving him up 58 miles an hour right down the middle.
Dumb. All of it dumb.
Okay, thank you.
It was
thank
dumb,
you because like people were out there like, oh, Jim doesn't like having fun. I like having fun.
I enjoy having fun.
I'm not against fun. I thought position players pitching would be more fun.
I would. Okay, here's where I don't mind I don't mind it ending that way. It's okay, fine. It was anticlimactic. I mean, it would have been really cool if, when Stephen Kwan hit that was the game-winning run. That would have been great. But yeah, I just would have liked to see the sport deserved for the American League. I don't remember the rules. They took 2, right? Was it 2 for each team?
They had 3 for each team.
3 for each team. So
each guy got 3 swings.
It needed to be Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, and pick somebody else from the American League that should have been in. And then for the National League, it needed to be Shohei, Acuna, and Kyle Tucker. Not these freaking slappies they threw out there that generally the majority of the country has no idea. And I agree with you on Kyle Schwarber. It's ridiculous he won the MVP. It should have gone either to Ketel Marte or Pete Alonso if you're going to pick somebody from the National League.
How about give it to Rooker?
3-run home run.
Give it to Rooker. I know his team lost, but Rooker brought his team back. And then he hit 2 home runs in the stupid ass thing they did at the end.
But if we're gonna, and I know people say, well, they were in street clothes. Fine, I'd let them hit in street clothes. I don't care.
Well, okay. I was confused about the whole thing, which is par for the course for me.
I raised my hand. I was confused. I did not know what exactly.
Well, I was wondering why they didn't have Raleigh and Judge in there, and then I thought, well, maybe the players had to be active in the 9th inning.
That's what Divish said to me this morning. And I frankly, I don't know if that's the rule. That's dumb. Get him back out there.
I'm with you. I'm not buying the, Cal might have gotten hurt if he had come out. If he had come out in his street clothes, I mean, that one guy, the guy that lost it for the American League, he didn't even have a hat on. He just had his
street. I want Cal Raleigh with no shirt, street clothes, some jeans on, and his cowboy boots, and he's bombing hits.
No, the legend would grow even greater if he did that. Like Cal Raleigh had to be called out of the shower to rescue the American League.
All right, I'm with you.
And he would have done that. T-shirt, whatever he was wearing.
You think those guys were? But I would say this. I thought about the players for a second. I'm like, God, they must be miserable that they have to stick around. But then you watch them on the sideline, in the dugout. They're going crazy. So they got into it at least. It looked like they were enjoying it.
Yeah, I guess I thought that it might end in a tie. Didn't one of the games end in a tie one year?
Well, that's what led to them making it worth home field advantage in the World Series. It was Bud Selig. It was in Milwaukee. That's when they're like, all right, now we got to make it for something. Like, okay, that was dumb.
But all in all, it was a great game.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal game.
American League down 6-0. You're counting your $20.
Yeah. Which was great. Woo looked good. I laughed like the majority of people in Seattle laughed out loud when they were like, we're miking up Cal Raleigh. And I'm like, that's not going to be good. You're not going to get.
I didn't hear how any of those things went. I was just in a bar in Kennewick. I mean, we were driving from Coeur d'Alene at the time. I think
he didn't say anything. Neither did Scooble.
I heard Kershaw was good.
Kershaw was good because Kershaw was like asking Smoltz, "Hey, Smoltzy, what should I throw here?" What should I throw? So that was good.
Yeah.
So we got
he
all
played
that.
along with it.
Yeah, it was good. Cal was just Cal. You know what I mean? That's what makes him great. They did the player introductions, and he didn't even really. It took him forever to acknowledge the crowd because he's going over the scouting report with the pitching coach. So
I saw him walking in with his girlfriend on the red carpet. He looked about as uncomfortable as anybody could look walking down the red carpet.
But he looked great. His suit was awesome.
No, he looked great, but I liked that he looked uncomfortable on the red carpet. He didn't look like he owned the red carpet. He looked like, I'm here, but I feel weird doing this.
Hey, let's get to our Open Championship preview. Travis Fulton, our former golf instructor, golf analyst, now host of the Stripe Show podcast, joins us every week as we break down the major tournaments. It's all brought to you by, Jim, you know this, our good friends. I'm telling you, don't regret it. Do it now. Synthetic Turf Northwest. You're not going to be disappointed, Jim.
Puck the Picker Majors Pool is back, brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest.
Look at that backyard, Jim.
Tired of that muddy backyard? Look at this beautiful backyard. Look how pretty it looks with that 3-hole putting green. Tired of the cost of watering your lawn? Synthetic Turf Northwest is pet friendly. They do synthetic lawn installation, custom turf installation, and with golf here, give you a golf green installation as well. Sign up today, syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
Wow, what a professional read. Do it today. But everyone's lawn in my neighborhood is yellow and brown and burned out. Not mine. It's green because it's Synthetic Turf Northwest, syntheticturfnorthwest.com. They proudly bring you our Puck the Picker Majors Pool golf contest all year long and our visit during the Majors week with Travis Fulton, former golf instructor again and golf analyst at the Golf Channel. He's got the Travis Fulton Golf Studio, travisfultongolf.com. His YouTube show, Travis Fulton Golf, there as well. And he joins us every Wednesday before Major. He's a longtime Mariners fan as well. He's sporting the Mariners cap. That is old school Mariners cap right there. That's vintage, like 92-ish. Yeah. 91, 92 right there. Travis, how are you?
I'm good. I thought I was going to have the best hat on for the show, but it looks like I've taken the bronze medal. I see Arnie's umbrella there on Jim, which is just fantastic. But I mean, the Supersonics, the old school Supersonics. My goodness.
Yeah, I just wanted to wear it, just wearing it, that we'll never get an NBA team ever again. So I'm just, thanks, Adam Silver. Well, by the way, Tim Booth will be joining us later in the show to talk about that. All right, Travis, I am watching the Golf Channel, and there is this backdrop right now. I don't know if you guys have tuned in live from the Open Championship. This backdrop that Chambly and Rich Lerner have right now is the most beautiful backdrop I've ever seen. This place looks phenomenal. I can't wait to watch the Open Championship. This is the one I get the second one I get the most excited for right after the Masters is the Open Championship.
Yeah, I think I would. I'm a U.S. Open guy, so I think U.S. Open Masters is probably right there, 1A, and then it's the Open. What I love about the Open, of course, we can wake up and golf's on, and they play like 15 hours a day on Thursday and Friday because everybody tees off on number one, which is the only major championship that does it. Everybody starts from one, so you get golf all day. It's just brilliant. Hopefully the weather's a little bit better than last year. I remember, or than last time it was there when Shane Lowry won. It was doom and gloom. A lot of rain. It was wet. I don't think it, looked great on TV, but Lowry got it done, which was amazing to watch that. So hopefully the weather's a little bit better this year, but it is a beautiful place. I mean, it just feels like old school golf. The ball is going to be bouncing, a type of golf that we're not really accustomed to too much here in the United States. And so I think it's a good test. I think it's a fair test. And what I like about Royal Portrush the most is it's not a bomber's paradise. I mean, this is not a course where you're going to overpower it. It's not overly long, 7,300. You can chase it down there, of course, with the ball bouncing, avoid the bunkers. It's a golf course. It's not bomb and gouge, but rather, accuracy into the greens. And the short game, guys, is elevated here. You can't fake it around this golf course. And it's not your traditional kind of bump and run into the banks. You got to throw the ball up in the air here a little bit as well. So you look at Lowry, how he won. He was first in strokes and approach greens regulation. and also his brilliance around the green, being able to throw it up in the air a little bit. I think that's the kind of golfer we're looking for.
Well, the thing is, Travis, is I hope you're right about the weather, but it looks like you're probably going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the Weather Channel forecast for the daily one over there. Rain every single day, and then winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. And that's one thing I expect from the British Open. I always watch it, and I'm going, man, these guys are really struggling out there with these conditions. So I like that as opposed to the U.S. Open where they doctor it up with the rough and everything. So you got the natural elements you got to deal with. So who does that? Does it just favor the guys like Lowry and people from the Northwest that are used to playing in that crap?
I think so. I think it definitely favors the European player. You look at when it was there last time, I think 5 Americans finished in the top 20. It wasn't much. Now, 3 of the last 4 Open Championships have been won by Americans. But I think when you look at Royal Portrush, the type of golf it is, the weather, and how it played when Shane Lowry won, the Americans didn't fare very well there. So I'm interested to see how they do this year. But I'm kind of leaning towards more of that European style and people that are a little more accustomed to this kind of weather.
I mean, I love the fact that the weather is going to play into it because this. If weather doesn't play a factor into this, they'll eat it up.
Yeah,
like if it's not windy and if it's no rain, they'll murder the course. I mean, I love links golf. Links golf is my favorite type of golf in the world. I think it allows more creativity. I like that there's no trees. I'm a big tree fan. And I love the bump and run. I love the thought process of playing links golf. But you do need the weather to be, if weather doesn't participate, then God, the scores they'll be mind-boggling low because it's for them, it's not that hard. But the weather, that, Travis, right? The weather just brings a different element to it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's got to be wind for sure. You want the wind, then you get the rain on top of it. You don't want it to just completely, I guess, take away the skill, right? I mean, you want the skill set to still be there. So I don't think it's going to be that bad, but there's certainly going to be some weather. I don't think it'll be as bad when they were there back in 2019 when Shane Lowry won it. What's interesting about this course, though, you mentioned the bump and run. The ball is going to bounce, but when you do get around the greens, these greens are a little bit smaller than the other ones on the Rota. And I think you're going to have to throw the ball up in the air a little bit more around the greens than maybe what you would see from some of the other courses. And there's no water at all, 0, which is fascinating for someone sitting here in Florida and that goes out and plays 18 holes and 16 holes has water on both sides of the fairway and green.
I like that. No water.
Hey, Travis, I don't know. I'm a big horse for the course kind of guy, and I would expect that Shane Lowry, you've already mentioned him. He won that event by 6 shots in 2019, and he's going to be a crowd favorite. I know he's not the guy to beat. Plus, we all kind of like fat, disheveled looking golfers, don't we? And Shane Lowry fits the bill in every way in this. And so I gotta put something on him this week. I don't know what he is, like 20 or 30 to 1 or something.
Why not? I mean, I think you have to. You want to stay with that physique. I would go ahead and throw Sepp Straka in there. I think that's another guy that a little bit on the huskier side that I like this week. Who's I don't know, around 70, 80 to 1. You know what's an interesting comp that I've been listening to some people who really study this. One of the interesting comps with this course is right here down in West Palm Beach where they play the Cognizant Classic, the old Honda Classic. That kind of golf. There's a lot of people talking about this course plays a little bit like a tough Floridian course without the water, like the types of shots it's going to command, which is interesting. And you go and you look at some of the people who have done well at Honda, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, these guys, tough courses. Sepp won at Arnold Palmer. They're talking about that. It's an interesting comp, and I've been kind of looking into that. So I do like Sepp this week. I sprinkled a little bit. You got a Lowry, but my pick, guys, this week, and I'll just get it out of the way. It's time for Tommy Fleetwood to win. And I know you guys love Tommy.
Let's go, Tommy.
Let's
go, Tommy.
I want him to win so bad, but he's not.
Yes, he is.
Both of you,
I want to see his 57-year-old wife kind of limp out there and celebrate with him.
Did he have a walker, Jim?
She might. I don't know.
No, but Travis, I'm with you. My heart is with you. I was just going to ask you about Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Tommy Fleetwood. He finished second there. He was 6 shots back of Shane Lowry.
Yep.
Though, he gets in the final 3 holes and he's either has the lead or he's tied. It's he's just gonna.
Yeah.
Why do we love Tommy though? Why do we love him?
He's just that he's kind of an everyday guy. He seems likable. He's got great hair. He doesn't mind sleeping with older women. I mean, I just think it's the whole package.
Well, only one, I think.
Well, there's as far as
you said, know. Women plural.
Well, maybe that's his thing.
Well, you look at him statistically, right? I mean, he plays a lot like Lowry. I mean, he can hit a lot of the same shots around the green. His short game is underrated. We know he's an exceptional ball striker. He's going to hit a ton of greens. You don't need a lot of length off the tee. He knows how to position it off the tee. He's going to hit a lot of greens. He's going to get the ball up and down. The question with Tommy is going to be from that 5 to 10 foot range. That's going to be the question. And if Tommy can have a good week in that 5 to 10 foot, 15 foot range, he'll be there. And I would, just like he did when he was there in 2019, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, pretty good. Sunday, he tends to struggle. But we have seen people get over the hump.
Okay.
We saw Vander get over the hump last year, 2 major championships. I think Fleetwood's the next one to get over the hump. It's going to happen this week.
I hope you're right.
Hope so. What about Scottie Scheffler? Everybody expects him to win every single time he steps on the first tee in any tournament anywhere. But does it suit his game? I suppose that's a stupid question because it seems like every course suits his game.
Yeah, I mean, Scottie's gonna, he's gonna ball strike your face off. I mean, tee to green, he's just so elite. I think with Scottie, the only thing with Scottie that would probably hold me back a little bit, and we saw it last week in the Scottish Open, is the greens he can get on green complexes that almost appear to confuse him, right? Where he gets frustrated and he's not seeing the break. And we saw it last week at the Scottish when he had that little 5-footer and he wasn't making anything and he rolled it up there and it didn't break and he's looking at it, hands up in the air. And it's just like, we've seen this from Scottie and that tends to hold him back a little bit. So I'm not going to play Scottie this week for that reason, but it's a pretty good chance he's going to be in the top 10 and a factor on Sunday, Jim. I mean, he's just so good.
Real quickly, I'm sure both of you have seen the video. What did you guys make of his comments just about the winning and that it just kind of it lasts 2 minutes and then it's over? Like, what are we really doing here? Why are we prioritizing this? I found it, I mean, very honest comments, sad in a little bit of a way, but I understood Travis exactly kind of what he was getting at.
Yeah, I think you could see it from both sides. It was interesting. It was fascinating. I listened to it a couple different times, and I think we've probably all been guilty of that to some degree. You kind of work, and then you have accomplishment, and then you accomplish something, and okay, now what? Now what do you guys want to do? And so it was fascinating to hear it come out of his mouth and articulate it so well.
Jim, do you ever feel that way when you accomplish something? Oh, or is it,
I'm still waiting to accomplish that. So,
me too.
It's getting late in the game too at 68, Travis.
I know, me too.
The one thing I will say, Puck, and I've been critical of professional golf in this way, is that they stretched it out so much, and there was no off season. And I think Scottie makes a good point. You win, and then it's just the next day is, hey, what do you think of the FedEx Cup playoffs? And then the next question is, what are you guys going to do in the Ryder Cup? And then the next question is, it's always the next thing. And I think when you stretch it out so much, there just doesn't ever feel like there's a complete ending to professional golf. It just always continues to go. Now, for a fan, it's always on, and it's great. But for a professional golfer, I think the insight is real, and I don't think he's probably the only one that feels that way.
I think that's why, the first comment right after that video was from someone in the golf world saying, this sounds like he wants to go to live. Like the way he described, the way he talked about it was like, this is like kind of why those players went as well, to have a little bit of a break in between these tournaments. All right, so your pick is Fleetwood. Are you going with Fleetwood, Jim? Who are you going?
No,
with?
I'm going to go with Hatton, Tyrrell Hatton.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
That's a good pick. I think.
God, that'd be great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would love it.
God, but his anger issues. He just.
I know.
God, I love watching him play though, because I like seeing guys show their emotions out there.
Yeah.
But it seems to hold him back. I mean, we always know about anger issues. You got to just leave that behind, focus on the next shot. And he seems to have problems doing that still.
Yeah, but he is fun to watch. Hey, we promised last week or the last time we had you on that Jim was going to send in his swing.
Okay.
And he did. And so Travis, I knew you've already looked at it, but for the rest of the audience now gets a chance to look at Jim's swing.
I'm taking notes.
All right. Now I had to edit a little bit because it was 4 minutes. So it's like a 15-second clip. But it's just your swing. We can play it over and over again. Here's Jim's swing.
Is this the one that he got off the ground, or is this the one that?
This is the one at Newcastle when he's not
the
wearing.
swing is so gross. I hate seeing it.
Hold on. This is the one at Newcastle when he's not wearing shoes. Okay.
Well, this is a good swing, Jim. A lot of good stuff.
That's so bad.
A lot of good stuff. You just heard him say it there. Let's watch it again. You know, you almost fell over, but whatever.
A lot of good stuff. So I would imagine some.
All right, Travis.
Probably ball starts right. Probably hit some draws. Maybe some toe hooks occasionally. But it's a good swing. It's a swing that looks like you're trying to kind of get it, inside around you, right?
I am, and I struggle with that. I can do it on a practice swing, but not on the real swing.
Yeah, and so I think, as far as the left arm is definitely more around you, which I wouldn't go any more than that. What I would encourage is more about what the club is doing. So the club head kind of gets in a little too early, and then it kind of gets a little vertical. So what I would do is try to take the club head a little bit more, maybe straight back out in front of you, and then let it go around. So I'll demonstrate. Check this out. You ready for this?
A listening audience, we have a full demonstration from Travis Fulton right now. He's going to demonstrate.
I'm going to talk loud, Jim. Okay. Here, I'm going to turn it this way a little bit.
Okay, Puckett, get rid of me. I want to see Travis.
No. Take it a little more out in front of you. See here?
Okay.
Not.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of that.
Okay. So a little more out, then turn, let the left arm go around, but then let the shaft lay down a little bit more like this. Not so vertical.
Okay. I know I'm too vertical like that.
Like this. So feel like it goes like out, then to there, then hit.
Seems so simple. Did you write that all down? It doesn't. When he says that, an audience who's not watching, just listening, you did a wonderful job of demonstrating the swing. You make it seem so easy. It really, honestly, and then it just looks so simple. And then the two of us will go to the driving range or go play around, and it's all gone just immediately.
Well, it's a hard game. It's a complex move, and in the world of development, when you're developing players and particularly technique, the key is there's a lot of good info out there, but the key is to put it in the right order. And for Jim, he's making a good turn. He's got enough around. He just needs a little more attention to how the club is moving to kind of blend in with that turn, and that'll position him to. I think the probability of impact will start to improve based off of that.
Okay, and then one last thing, and I know I'm being self-indulgent and all that stuff. So then, what about the downswing? What do you do from there?
Well, I think it'll free you up because the shaft will be a little more horizontal. It won't be so vertical. It'll free you up where you can actually rotate more left. Like you can just kind of open up and let the club exit more around you to the left. Where right now you look a little bottled up, like it almost looks like you're. And the reason is because the shaft is vertical at the top. So when you come down, when the shaft's not horizontal enough, when you come down, you have to kind of stand up to make room. to make room, or you would just hit it so far on the toe and pull it left because the shaft's too vertical. So I'll send you a little more dynamic video of it demonstrating that. But that's the reason why you feel bottled up at impact.
And feel free, Travis, to post that everywhere on your social media platforms, just everywhere where we can possibly get it. Travis Fulton, former golf instructor and analyst there at Golf Channel, host of the Stripe Show podcast. And, of course, he has a golf studio, the Travis Fulton Golf Studio, TravisFultonGolf.com. YouTube as well at Travis Fulton Golf, and his appearances with us all brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest, SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. Tired of that muddy backyard? Cost of watering your lawn, SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. Yes, Travis.
Real quick, Jim, I'll text you before I jump off, but 2 picks, okay? 2 guys that have won major champion, 3 guys, won major championships I like this week. Justin Thomas, I think, is a factor this week. I don't think Justin Thomas is made for links golf, but I think this is a course. Take the driver out of his hand, let his iron and short game go to work. I like him here. Patrick Reed, perfect place for him. Won major championship. And Hideki Matsuyama, I think, is a factor here, especially if the weather gets tough and grinding. His short game is magic. Those are 3 guys with pedigree, won majors before that. I'll
listen to him. Listen to him, folks, because 2 weeks ago he told me about that Gotterup guy. I didn't take him. Now, I didn't win 2 weeks ago, but he won this past week. All right, Travis, enjoy the Open Championship. Go M's, and we'll talk to you down the line.
Thanks, Travis.
You bet, guys. Thank you.
There he is, Travis Fulton, golf instructor, former golf instructor there at the Golf Channel, now host of the Stripe Show podcast, TravisFultonGolf.com. You got a good swing. I mean, there was part of me in that video that wanted to see you fall over, but
it's not. But at the top, I don't know. It just looks gross to me.
Well, you never like to look at yourself swing a club. I wouldn't want anybody to see the way I swing a club.
No, you have a good swing, Puck.
Not really. It's like listening to yourself. You don't go back and listen to yourself, do you?
I've never done that.
I have it. It's awful, miserable. All right, Patrick Reed. God, I really do want to take Tommy Fleetwood. My heart says Tommy Fleetwood, but I can't do it.
Take Patrick Reed.
I kind of want to take Patrick Reed. I like rooting for just a guy that everyone despises and hates.
He's got a great short game. Patrick Reed's a hell of a golfer. I mean,
he's a great golfer. It's a great goal. Okay, Puck the Picker Majors pool, real quick. This is the last one. The Open Championship is the last one. So if you are in the Puck the Picker Majors pool, once again, brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest, you got to get your picks in tonight. They tee off Pacific 10:35. You can take it right up to about 10:34 to get your 2 golfers in. But be sure to get them in before 10:35 is when they tee off for the first time tonight, that's why I love the Open Championship. I love that I can stay up late and watch the first, few groups go off, and then you wake up in the morning and then there's just golf on all day long. And I'm telling you, this course, Royal Portage, it looks beautiful. This backdrop of where the Golf Channel is right now is just beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, it is in Ireland, correct?
Royal Portrush?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like double dog sure. I was single dog sure, but not double dog sure.
Yeah.
What I will tell you about
northern coast of Ireland,
playing golf in Ireland versus playing golf in Scotland. Everybody knows about Scotland. I think Ireland golf is better than Scotland golf.
Okay.
Yeah. So do that. So put that on your bucket list.
I'm going.
Go to Ireland and play golf, and the people there are terrific.
Okay, they are. They're wonderful people. I'm in.
They are.
I'm in. Yeah. I'm in. I want to go play it. It just looks. I mean, Bandon Dunes is the closest thing that this backdrop that I'm seeing that it looks like, but it just looks phenomenal.
Well, and the coolest thing about Ireland, when you're driving around from course to course, you feel like you're living in the 50s or the 60s. It's just awesome. If you want to go back in time, go to Ireland.
Yeah. Northern Ireland. That's what we said. Jeff Ellis is saying. Well, Northern Ireland. Jesus, Jeff. Not Ireland. Northern Ireland. Okay, we said Northern Ireland, didn't we? Leave us alone.
I do know back in the 80s, we avoided going to Northern Ireland. There were some
things going there. There was a lot of unrest going on. All right, we'll be joined by Tim Booth here shortly. Get an update on the NBA expansion. Adam Silver. Not much really of an update, and it's what I exactly
we called it, didn't we?
Exactly what I feared. It's exactly what I feared. What he was going to do, and he did it. And I don't know where I don't know where people should go from here. If you don't know, he basically just said nothing. we're forming 2 more committees to look at it. I thought you had already done that. And so there's nothing really formal. There's 0 timeline. There's
He
a
said
bunch.
it's really day one in the process. And I'm thinking, day one? Are you fucking kidding me?
And how many years has it been? 17 years, man. How is it day one? And then I think you have all these reports that have come out. Bill Simmons, of course, hosts a podcast, and he came out a couple weeks ago and just said, hey, it's not. People, they're not for it. And it was led by Dolan at the Knicks. They're not for it, but he's not the only one. David Aldridge came out with a story and said it's lukewarm. People just aren't into it. So I don't know what to tell people anymore. It doesn't feel like it's on the horizon. I understand now, and certainly get why everyone just says, I'm done with it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Don't bring it up anymore. I get it because it's just he just did the worst thing he possibly could have done yesterday. And now it appears, and people have kind of drawn to this conclusion, is kind of what he talked about the Blazers. Oh yeah, I was still looking for an owner, and maybe new arena. They don't need a new arena. Okay,
yeah, he talked about the Rose Garden. I know it's not the Rose Garden anymore, but it'll always be the Rose Garden to me. He talked about it like it was trash or something.
I was there last year. It's phenomenal. There's nothing wrong with it. There's not a single thing wrong with it. And so now people are like, well, is using leverage, because I'm going to tell you, I talk to Canzano about this all the time, and having worked down there. The greatest fear, and I'm not exaggerating, the greatest fear of the people that live down there is that they will take the team. That's their greatest fear. There's always this inferiority complex between Portland and Seattle. It's the same way how San Francisco looks down upon us and we try to look up to them. I mean, it's just the way it is. We look down on Portland. Portland looks up to us. Portland dislikes us at times. There is a fear down there. It's just, people that I've still talked to, that I worked with down there, friends, there's always this fear that they would try and take the team. So, and I don't think anyone who listened to him or read his comments yesterday goes, oh, okay, I feel more comfortable about it. Let's see it. He was there. He was in Las Vegas, where it's probably 115 degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Seattle Times, it's our good friend Tim Booth, who joins us here on the Daily Puck Drop. What was your takeaway from Adam Silver? Is that what you expected to hear from him last night, Tim?
Kind of. I think we expected to hear something a little bit more about the idea of an expansion committee, and the way it was presented kind of at the end of his opening remarks made it really confusing, sort of at first, of like, well, is it the league that's doing the work? Is it a committee within, the ownership groups that are doing the work? So right from the start, it felt very overly convoluted, I guess, because everyone I talked to had kind of gotten to the point of saying, okay, we think it's going to be formation of an expansion committee. This is going to be what they're tasked with. And then they decided to do it this other way, which might lead to the same end result as they go through the process of examining everything. But it felt unnecessarily messy, I guess, by doing it this way. And I think it leads to just a little bit more wiggle room for the NBA, because they can now come back down the road and say, okay, if we decide that these committees are recommending that we should look at adding teams, okay, now we're going to add an expansion committee. And now that expansion committee is going to do their own research, and that's going to delay the process by another 3 months or 6 months. Silver seemed to kind of just push that aside at the end and say, these 2 committees that are going to look into this have essentially enough owners and enough information and everything to make a recommendation to the full board at some point. But it does give them a little bit of leeway to potentially add that into the conversation and draw this process out a little bit longer than it already has been.
Yeah, but Tim, more and more, aren't you thinking that it might not happen at all?
I think the pessimism level is growing a lot. The longer this gets kicked down the road, I think that is becoming a little bit more of a reality. I think if I'm a fan, the thing that I'm concerned about right now is you hear all the reasons why they're not going to do it, and you don't hear the reasons why they're going to do it. And I think that's become a growing sentiment more and more because if you look back a year ago or 18 months ago, Silver spoke with excitement about the idea of why they might expand and add teams. And now every time he speaks about it in a formal setting like this, it's more of the reasons why they're not going to do it. And yesterday it was the concerns about whether teams are going to want to see two more cuts of the pie taken from the revenue streams that they're about to get with the new media rights deal, or the concerns about the local media situation and the teams that have taken cuts there, or the league and what they're trying to do in Europe and get that off the ground sometime in the next 2 years. So yes, Jim, I think there's a level of pessimism that I know the people who are involved with the ownership group in Seattle are starting to feel a little bit, and I think the general portrayal of how this is going very much leads to that sort of feeling that maybe this could this could be delayed even longer, or maybe just not happen.
How much betrayal or blame should this Kraken Oakview group share, though? Because from the get-go, if they never get the NBA, I think there's going to be people in this town, myself included, that felt lied to by this group. Because they sure did try to, at every turn, talk about, no, it's coming. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but trust us.
I don't know if
Do you
betrayal's the
think
right.
would it okay, maybe betrayal is not the right word. Could people feel like myself feel misled?
I could see how you feel that way, how you would feel that way if that is what came to pass. I don't think that you gotta remember what the environment was when all this first started getting talked about, which was we're going back to 2018. Climate pledge is just getting approved to be redone in the way that it was. Um, the hockey team is just getting awarded. Everybody instantly jumps to the idea that hockey's going to be here and basketball is going to come. The way that the NBA environment was then is not the way the NBA environment was now. And the valuations of the franchises have gone through the roof in a way that the NBA could not have anticipated then. I mean, Silver even mentioned it yesterday that if if they had added expansion teams 5 years ago, they would have shortchanged themselves because of where the valuations were of franchises at that point versus where they are now. I mean, Jesus, we're talking about the Lakers going for $10 billion, and while they shouldn't be part of any conversations about what an expansion fee is going to end up looking like, it is a consideration that they're going to have to take into account of like, okay, if the Celtics are going for 6 billion now and the Lakers are going for 10 billion now, maybe we do need to charge seven. Maybe we do need to charge 7.5 rather than the 5 or 6 that has been sort of talked about what an expansion fee might be. So when the conversations first came up about, oh, the Sonics are returning because we finally solved the climate pledge and the NHL is coming, the NBA is in a far different place now than what that was. So back to the Kraken and that organization and that group, what they were trying to talk about then is not the environment now, and they can only do so much along the way. They're not the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are the 30 owners right now who are deciding that they don't want to cut one more slice or two more slices of this massive media rights deal that's about to kick in and give everybody, you know, hundred some $1 million extra every year for the next 11 years. At some point, they have to decide if they want to cut that in. But right now, they certainly don't seem willing to entertain that idea and are just slow playing this step by step along the way. So yes, you can feel misled by the group. I don't know, but I don't think betrayal is the right word. But ultimately, they can only do so much. It's down to Silver and the influence that he has or doesn't have over the owners, and ultimately the owners deciding, yeah, we want to do this or we don't want to do this.
Well, Tim, are we even sure that this group in Seattle can afford an expansion team? Because back a couple of years ago, when you were talking about back then, things have changed. Certainly, with you talked about the Lakers, $10 billion, the Celtics. I mean, the difference between $5 billion and $6 billion is a considerable amount of money to most people, including rich people. And this greed stuff, where these guys are trying to get a few more 100 million, fuck you. I mean, come on. It's just, it just, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because I picture myself being one of these rich guys. And, when do you ever reach that enough point? Like, is there never enough?
So Jim, I'll touch on two things there. One, I think from Silver's standpoint, the idea of coming back to Seattle is a legacy play that he wants to have happen. I truly think Adam Silver wants to see a team back in Seattle. But the owners have changed so dramatically in the last 10 years that there isn't necessarily that same legacy feeling because the Sonics weren't around. But a lot of the new ownership group, sans James Dolan, who just seems to be a jerk, but a lot of the new owners that have come into the league, they don't understand the history of the league with Seattle and the Sonics there. So there isn't necessarily the legacy component that's pulling them in the same way that maybe Silver feels it or others in the league office might feel it. So to that point, those owners, they just want to be greedy. They want their money. They want this money to be able to break even, or they want this money to finally be in the black and actually profiting a little bit on a venture that generally doesn't make money. Typically, if you're an owner, you're probably losing money at some point until you finally decide to sell and you base it off whatever the valuation of your franchise is at. To your other question, every indication I've gotten is the Seattle group is good for that $5 to $6 billion range. The piece that's unknown is, does it go beyond that? Who else can they draw in? Who else can they have conversations with? The piece that the NBA has gone down, or the road the NBA has gone down, is they allow private equity to have a certain stake in ownership. So that's something that you can always turn to in this situation. If you're short, this is going to sound ridiculous. If you're short a little 500 million or something to get to that next step of what an expansion fee might be, well, you can go find, you go the private equity route and put that together, and there's the extra money that you need in order to make that happen. I've had no indications yet that this group in Seattle is going to be hamstrung when it comes to finding the money. The uncertainty is, does these continued rising valuations and this continued delaying of when they finally decide that they are or aren't going to do this, does it make it to the point where they say the expansion fee is 7.5, and then you have some real questions about, I think, whether it's a smart move or not, if you're an investor. But then, can you actually, viably run a franchise if you have to pay that amount of money just to get in the door?
Hey, Tim, last thing for you. If you're in Sky, keep it down. If you're in Portland and you hear him talk about, well, there could be relocation, and hey, Portland's going through an ownership and Portland needs a new arena. I mean, this is the same playbook we went through 17 years ago. If you're in Portland right now, how do you feel about what you heard from Adam Silver yesterday?
My antennas went up massively when I heard that. I was like, where the hell is this coming from? Because there's been absolutely no mention throughout this entire process of the Blazers sale that all of a sudden you need to replace Moda. Like, there's been none. And to your point, Puck, like, instantly I'm having flashbacks to 2005, and when Howard and Wally were trying to get something done with the city or the state in order to redo Key Arena. Like, it was kind of frightening, the feelings I was having hearing just that statement from him. Um, the thing with relocation, and again, the NBA needs to stay in Portland 100%. I'm writing that today. Like, Portland needs to have a team. The Blazers need to stay in Portland. They need to keep them there. But if you're the owners, if you're the board of governors, and you're already not showing a willingness to cut up your pie by at least one more team with this new revenue that's coming in, why not relocate?
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it from their standpoint, and it doesn't have to be Portland, but there's other franchises that are
Sure.
struggling. You get a relocation fee, you get back into a market that is more viable, more vibrant, more economically advantageous than if you were in New Orleans, Memphis, name your city that has an aging arena and seems to not have the best economic opportunities, or as a smaller market. Like there I think that door is at least ajar. I don't necessarily know if that's the road they're going to go down, but if you're the owners, like, why would we cut the pie more if we can just say, okay, Pelicans, thank you for being in New Orleans for the last number of years, but we would really like to see you in Seattle, and we're going to collect a $3 billion relocation fee or whatever it might be, as part of that. Now, of course, the teams have to become available for sale, and there's a whole other process that we all are well versed in, that would have to happen. I don't think that's the route that Silver wants to go, because I think he still feels the sting of what happened to Seattle in '08, and I don't think he wants to flip that around and have that happen again. But again, the owner, he's at the whim of what the owners want to do, and he doesn't have the same sway that David Stern did, not even close to it. Otherwise, this process probably would be done by now. So until that happens, and until he gets the kind of power and cachet to be able to force a decision like that, things like relocation, especially when he says what he says about the Blazers, are going to be floated out there as possibilities.
Tim Booth of Seattle Times. Buy Tim Booth there on social media. Follow all of his work. Read all of his work as well. SeattleTimes.com. Get yourself a hard copy. Get the very latest on NBA expansion from Adam Silver's press conference yesterday there in Las Vegas. Thank you for carving out the time today, Tim. Appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Good to see you.
Yeah, there
Thanks,
he is.
Tim.
There he is, Tim Booth. Buy Tim Booth on Twitter. I don't know how you come out of reading his comments, watching his press conference, and feeling good about the future of the NBA. And if I'm in Portland right now, I'm like, really? What's going? The Moda Centers now needs to be remodeled, and I know there's going to be a portion of people in this city, and it's fine, because it's their opinion, it's how they feel. That is going to say, I don't care if it's Portland. I'll take Portland. I would not want that.
No.
I'm just going to be on the record. I would not want the Portland Trailblazers to be relocated to Seattle. Okay? It is, I know what that team means to that market. I worked there for 3 years. It is everything to them. And I wouldn't want to be a part of a fan base that ripped them out and their rich history of basketball there and bring it up here. Now, New Orleans and Memphis and Charlotte, fine, because they don't support them. They're in terrible media markets. No problem. There's no history with those teams.
How about OKC?
Or we brought it up. Yeah, I brought it up last week people don't. Oklahoma City's going to be sold. Barry Trammell reported that 2 weeks ago. They're going to be sold. Yeah, take Oklahoma City. Take them back, but not Portland. And I get there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you, I don't care. But I just, for me, would not want to take that team.
The one thing I was thinking about more and more, Puck, the Sonics, when they do come back, if they do come back, it's not going to be the Sonics we remember, especially at first when they're an expansion team. Yeah. And whatever you paid to go to a Sonics game back in 2008, what it's going to cost for you to go now, and the style of play in the NBA is not really all that exciting to some of us. Here I am, I'm telling you to get off my yard again. So I don't know, it's like, be careful what you wish for a little bit. And I just think it's going to not exactly be what people think it's going to be when the Sonics do return.
It's fair. It's fair. There's a lot of people that are clearly turned off from the sport. Again, go read Tim's work, seattletimes.com. Buy Tim Booth on Twitter. We appreciate him carving out some time today. All right. So you are betting with both hands. Just give me one guy, not 15 guys for the Open Championship. Just one guy.
Okay, my number one guy I'm going with is Tyrrell Hatton.
Okay.
Yeah. I like his game. I like his temperament.
I
mean, his temperament sucks, but I like it anyway.
Well, because he's honest. He's just.
I mean, he's the guy that's most likely to helicopter a club, isn't he?
But yes, but it would be also because of how much that means to him to win it. It would be in a phenomenal celebration, emotional breakdown, and a party with that guy.
Oh God, yes.
Same thing for Fleetwood. I think for Fleetwood it'll be. I mean, my heart's going to pull for Fleetwood. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. I love Tommy. We all love Tommy. How can you not love Tommy? I mean, my love affair with Tommy started when I found out how much he loved dogs. And now that he likes older women, I mean, even more so now.
It's just, I mean, wait till you find out that his go-to drink at a bar is a Cadillac margarita.
Yeah.
Safe travels back to Bend.
Okay, Puck, sounds good, man. Thanks for having me. Go Cougs.
Stay cool. It's gonna be a hot one day, hottest day I think in the state.
Yeah, I saw that.
Warm one.
I saw that. All right, keep cool. Go Cougs.
All right, buddy.
Come on, don't forget
Cougs.
that. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. All right, we'll see you Friday.
Okay, see ya.
There he is, Jim Moore, the go-to guy, joins us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right, so we've got Open Championship preview, Travis Fulton, Tim Booth from Las Vegas talking NBA expansion. Now it's time for our weekly visit with our good friend, the human pony cake, Ryan Divish, who's taking a sabbatical from covering the Mariners to coach the Havre North Stars there in Havre, Montana. He's going to be back, though, coming up shortly. Now, this is the Ryan Divish Podcast Lite. Going to give you a few minutes of it, about 12 or 13 minutes of it. The full 30-plus minute show available for Puck's Posse members. Go to pucksports.com to sign up today, join the Puck's Posse, and you get to watch and listen to the full Ryan Divish show. The Ryan Divish experience. It's the Ryan Divish show. God, these shirts keep getting smaller if you're watching, but his just arms are getting bigger. It's our MLB Insider Ryan Divish, brought to you by Chalet Bowl, Washington's oldest operating bowling alley, proudly serving the community since 1941. Located in Tacoma's historic Proctor District, they have been family-owned and operated for over 40 years, delivering top-notch customer service around the area. Check them out at chaletbowl.com to book your next reservation. Divish taking a sabbatical covering the Mariners. He is the head coach and head coach who is garnering the most attention in Montana as the travel ball coach of the year, leading the Havre North Stars. Currently, a 31-12-1 record. Man, what a juggernaut.
Yeah, I am not getting bigger. My shirts, I am getting bigger, but not in a good way. As you can tell by the size of the screen, my face is getting fatter every day. And part of the problem is like my girlfriend has food around a lot, and then my mom has food, and my mom has become like this expert in sourdough bread baking.
Oh, yeah.
And I just kill it. And then now she came up with this cheddar and jalapeno sourdough bread that is just like crack cocaine. So all I do is just eat toast with butter on it, and then sometimes I'll put like ham and cheese on there too, and then I'm just eating all the time.
When do I move in?
I know. I'm just eating all the time. So, and then then you heard about the food at my 50th birthday party, the bacon fried rice and the egg rolls and all. Like my mom just doesn't stop. She's a Japanese lady, and the world was meant for her to cook for it, and so I'm the one who has to eat all this stuff.
It's good. It's good for you. All right, we got a lot of cover. We got the home run derby, we got second half outlook, all-star game, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. Hey, let me start with this. And you can be like Adam Silver, not give me a real timeline. When are you expected back?
Like my official date is August 4th is when I have to come back. The only thing that would change that is if we were to finish in the top 2 in the state of Montana, and then we would go to the regional tournament. in Idaho, and that
Okay.
that would delay it by like 2 days or something like that.
Okay.
And so, I
Are
mean,
you
like,
nervous? Are you nervous to come back?
well, yeah, what if they go in the shitter when I come back? And then my boy Akita goes on Twitter and starts mocking me and saying I'm the reason why, you know? I mean, and like, it's not hard for a professional Twitter nuisance like Alex to go out and enrage the masses and the, the unwashed miscreants that are on Twitter, the mouth breathers that inhabit Twitter, for him to go out there and get them to believe that it's somehow my fault.
Have you missed it? Parts of it?
I miss like being at the park with my friends. Like I miss like Alex Mayer of the Mariners and Adam Gresh, Jordan Stone. I miss those, Tim Heavley. Because I've known those guys forever. And then Kramer and Jude. Like it's fun when you're at the park, or Bradham. I get my daily hug from Bradham and Angie. Just like the camaraderie we have, like while we stand there in a clubhouse and wait for people not to talk to us, is pretty good. So I miss that part. I don't miss like deadline writing. I don't miss the travel portion. And like I was watching All-Star Weekend and all the stuff that went down, and just thinking of the stress level of having to write for that. Like Cal winning it was great, but then trying to do the moment justice and writing about it, and then like he had to talk to everybody forever, so then you're waiting to talk to him. It's just it would have been very stressful, like the Jewel event, like the All-Star game. I've done about 7 of them now. I was there when Aaron Judge won the home run derby, and Giancarlo Stanton. Apparently those are the only guys that count. But like I was there for when those guys won it. I was there when who won it in LA? Was it Soto or was it Vlad? I can't remember. I was there,
Vlad win it. Vlad won it right when it was here, correct? And then Soto won it because that was the year that wasn't that Julio's rookie season?
I was there when Todd Frazier won it in Cincinnati when they first started doing that,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the time thing. I just don't like the stress level of that sometimes, because you just want to make sure you do the moment justice. And somebody like Cal, who's so deserving, and then like all the storylines with Todd and with T, and then like, I mean, I think the best part of that whole family thing was the back of Cal's jersey, or Cal's mom's jersey, where he signed it and said, "Thank you, Mom, I love you. Thank you for all the sacrifices you made for me." I mean, like, shit like that. I mean, like, that would have been the tough part. But it was so, and like, I don't even know, like, if you're not watching it on TV too a little bit, you don't see the interactions with T telling Cal, you're on this, good swing, all that stuff. Go get this one, and talking to the dad, all the interactions. I mean, I guess you could have listened on the monitor, but that was a huge part of it too. So it's pretty crazy.
But do you watch what like Cal Raleigh is specifically doing, and knowing him and covering him for all these years, and playing a position that you played in college as well, so you know how tough it is. Is there a slight, and I don't mean to use regret in a negative way. The regret is you're just to witness it up close and personal. Is there a low professional regret? He's putting together this season that may go down as the greatest season in the history, of catchers. Now you may see the back end of it, but to this date, is there just a little bit? You're like, because like fun to be there.
Yeah, it would, because one, it's like me and him get BS every day, like when I'm covering it. I mean, I'll text him randomly. He always texts back. Like I text him, I said, "Hey, you have to recreate that video if you win the home run derby. Like you have to recreate." He's like, "I'll think about it," But like, no, I mean, that part you miss. Like you feel like you're missing out on seeing history almost, being a part of it. And granted, I'll get to see the tail end of it. But like, on the daily, it's like I covered Felix during his prime. And so it's just like you gain an appreciation for how good somebody is by going there every day and seeing that, or I remember like the first time I watched Adrian Beltre at spring training take ground balls, and it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. They were hitting him rockets at him. And then come to find out later, he doesn't even wear a cup, And so it's like, seeing a part of history. I think for me, like the whole FOMO, that you feel like you're missing out on stuff. If I had taken the sabbatical and they'd went to the postseason and then I wasn't there to cover that, like covering the postseason game and writing that game story about them finally clinching a playoff berth was one of the most, like, I'd pre-written a lot of it, but like just you're trying to, it's stressful because you wanted to, like you said, do the moment justice. So yeah, not being there for this has been difficult but easy at the same time. Like,
and just what a moment for that family.
Oh,
what a moment for
yeah.
him, and to sit there and anyone, kids, no kids, you can sit there and appreciate the moment that Todd Raleigh had with both of his kids.
Well, like he said, like every dad that's had a son that's thrown baseballs to him when they were a kid growing up. I mean, like, this is the ultimate, and like, and he is kind of, it is funny, he is a college baseball coach and everything else, but he's got a lot of just simple dad qualities, stuff he says reminds me of like what my dad would say or whatever. And I think it must have been 2 years ago, maybe. We were in Atlanta, and Cal had told me that he was going to watch T play in a game in one of those perfect game tournaments. And I said, "Is it all right if I go out there and watch and write something on it?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't." Cal was like, I believe his words, "I don't give a shit. Yeah, whatever." Like, and so then I, and then I talk with his dad for half hour, talk with the mom, sit by the family, and they're all watching. There's cousins everywhere. And that kid is a unit, by the way. T. Raleigh is 6'4", size 15 feet, switch hitter. He dunked in an 8th grade basketball game this year, apparently, too.
He looks the part.
Yeah, I bet you that guy's Snapchat was blowing up after it. He's probably getting calls from girls he didn't even know like that.
I had a teenage daughter that was watching it with me, and she's like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I mean, like, and I remember writing that story on T and Cal, just watching him interact and stuff, and like, it's genuine too. It's not like phony. There's nothing phony about that family. I mean, like, they are, I mean, it's just like they're the family down the street.
Right.
They're no different. I mean, like, they're the family down the street you grew up being around, and like got kids running around everywhere. I mean, his two sisters are Division I college volleyball. Were Division I college volleyball players. I mean, like, think about that. If you're Todd Raleigh Sr., you've watched a lot of travel ball and then travel volleyball with all the screaming. Oh my God, that guy is a saint.
He is a saint, because that travel volleyball, you're in one big warehouse with like 6 different courts going on
screaming at once, and then they pay a lot of freaking money for travel volleyball. I don't know what it is. If it's the nets or the refs.
It's a lot more than baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gymnastics is only you manage to have kids that did the 2 most expensive sports. This side is skiing. Thank God they didn't do hockey though, because that's even more expensive. Then you got to get up at the butt crack of dawn and take them for ice time.
Yeah, that's right. You're up at like 4 a.m. to get up there, and then all the equipment, all that. Yeah, they just you're right. You nailed it. They just come across as this, like, just everyday. I always hesitate to say perfect family, because no one's perfect, but they just this normal family, and he's just a normal guy. I think it was so represented in the whole All-Star weekend. I don't know if you watched it, but MLB Network does the red carpet, and I got it on the background. I'm watching it, and everyone's coming. What are you wearing? Oh, Christian Dior. What? All this Gucci.
Cowboy boots.
Yeah, no, he was wearing dress shoes, but it was this. Did you see it? It was the most simple, but yet professional, like navy blue suit.
No, he was wearing it was just traditional. It was like
it's a nice suit.
I didn't get to see the part. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't get to hear all of it. Like, somebody should ask, like, how do you tailor your pants, dude? Because like that, because like I think Adam wrote Adam wrote one day that he has to wear like a 40-inch waist because his ass is so big, like in his jeans. Like he has to have a 40-inch waist.
I'm sure he has to get his suits custom made.
Well, I know he does, but
buying
I mean,
off the rack at Men's Warehouse.
No, he's
but
not going to freaking Nordy Rack to buy it. I mean, like he's going.
But he just looked. It was simple, and it was just him. And then
it was classic. He had a classic look, like.
And then when they're doing the player introductions, I love this. I just love this about him. This is Cal Raleigh, and everyone's excited. They're waving, all excited, and they get to him and they announce the starters, and he's talking to must be the pitching coach, whoever it is, for the American League, and he's going over the scouting report.
Yeah,
and you can tell him, and he's locked in on the scouting report with the pitching coach, and the camera's on him as they introduce, and it's the big dumper Cal Raleigh. And it takes him a moment. I think the coach finally has to say, "Hey, you just got to announce. You got to wave." He's like, he does a real quick wave. Okay, back. How are we going to pitch to Acuna?
Yeah.
And it just, and even when they mic'd him up, and I laughed when they announced they're micing him up. I'm like, this is going to be.
Yeah, he's trying to focus. He's got the hardest
Joe
job
Davis,
in the world.
You're not going to get anything from him mic'd up. You're going to get nothing. And
you want to say to like Joe Davis, like, hey man, this guy's trying to catch 99. Like he doesn't have to focus.
But and then he said a few words, and I just, not to make fun of him, but it was just making fun of the situation. If like out here we know who he is, I'm like, he's just not going to say anything.
No,
not at all. And it was classic
to, like, do stuff. Yeah, no, it was. How about Brian Wu's look, man? Like he was straight out of Miami Vice. I was like, hey, Sonny Crockett, like, hey, they're doing a remake there.
That was a good look. Wu had a great look.
Pete Crow Armstrong's doing well for himself.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's
like, quite
I was
well.
Like, because look. Not to go like all Moneyball where guys have ugly girlfriends or whatever, no confidence, have ugly girlfriends. Like those guys are all doing, if you look at most of those players, they're all doing really well for themselves. But like Pete Crow Armstrong is like walking with somebody who's like straight out of Hollywood. Like, hey, I'm on this stuff,
Abrupt end there to Ryan Divish. There he is, Ryan Divish. The full podcast for Puck's Posse members, go to pucksports.com. You get the full video and audio, 30-plus minutes, talking more about Cal. Trade deadline, what's available, pressure on Jerry DiPoto to keep his job. Would that force him to make a move that maybe he wouldn't make, leading up to the trade deadline? And would he part with some of those top prospects? It was interesting. We were talking about how it doesn't seem like they ever give up their top prospects. We got into one trade where you look back to it and you go, well, at that time, that was, their top prospect. That was one of their guys. And so he has shown it in the past. Will he do it again? Again, if you want to watch or listen to the full Ryan Divish podcast, go to pucksports.com, sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. And for $5 a month, or you get a discount if you sign up for a year, you get the full show every single week. Just like you get the full show of the Sports Pit with myself, Steve Sandmyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. This was a hot show. Well, there were some hot, spicy takes on this one, and it was hot outside because I decided to do the show outside, and then the sun was in my face the entire time, and I was just melting away. Now, we'll give you a little portion of the Sports Pit this week, where we talk about Cal Raleigh's historic home run derby and the frustration with Mariners ownership, to the point like this, the ownership doesn't deserve Cal Raleigh. The full hour-long Sports Pit is available now, just like Ryan Divish, at pucksports.com. You sign up to be a Puck's Posse member. But here's the Sports Pit light version for you to enjoy. Sam, we got kids. Stretch, you have kids. You just don't know them yet. You'll meet them eventually.
That's not right. There's payments.
Yeah. It just was awesome. Like, I just can't stop thinking about how cool that was. Like, and when Todd Raleigh said, this is like every parent that had like a baseball kid or just a kid, you dream of these moments. And he gets to pitch to his kid, one of his kids, and then his other kid's catching, who looks like a beast, by the way. Todd Jr. looks
Unbelievable.
like an animal.
Yeah.
15. He's huge. But it's got to be one of the coolest things ever. Anybody
I
that's
don't, mean
ever
to, I don't mean to defend men that don't have kids, but I don't think you had to have a kid necessarily to have goosebumps. I'm joking, but have goosebumps the entire time because of
So
you
good.
recognize the moment, right? The moment. This was, you didn't have to be a Mariner fan, but it sure felt like one of ours was going through something of a lifetime memory. And we can talk about the Cooperstown ball, and here's his little brother is going to be in Cooperstown for life, but that was a moment that we will all talk about because it was our guy and it was a Mariner. But to say it was a special moment, such an understatement. I mean, and especially after watching Cabanero, who you just thought was the winner after his sweet swing after 2 rounds, possibly. A buddy of mine was like, "I got money on Cal Raleigh," and I was like, "That's a cute story." That's what I thought of. That's a cute story, and then it happened. I mean, that's a memory for everybody. But that family, that dynamic, and then to have his mom and all, to have the whole tribe down there, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I mean,
the video, I mean, we've all seen the video
incredible.
when he's 8 doing the little rap, winning the home run derby in his backyard. I mean,
all of it. We talk about, we're regional. We're the regional deal up here, and we have a little fence. I don't know how far it goes, Montana and down and the whole thing. And that's our guy. But it was so funny to watch the other side. It was the epitome of watching. I mean, the stadium emptied out immediately, like as soon as it was over. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't think a home run contest, people are hanging out and partying in the stands, but it was just like, for them, it was kind of a ho hum. I couldn't get enough of either highlights or interviews. He did 19 interviews. We all watched all of them, as many as we could. That was our dude. That was just that regional thing of, we own him. That's our guy. And another thing I want to ask both of you is, isn't he doing everything like it's pre-contract? Isn't he doing and that's another reason, Sandmyer, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, why he's so likable. Like, he's doing all this PR stuff, all this good guy stuff. He's already been paid.
He's humble.
He's
it's
absolutely
the word you're looking for is humility. That's the word.
Not only that, but cash also changes people, right? So you're kind of waiting for a little kind of a blip or something. Not with him. I'm talking about most athletes, or they get protective, or somebody ruins it for everybody because they're a dick to him, whatever. He's just the same dude, and it's so likable and everything. Like him being mic'd up. Another point, him being mic'd up tonight was like, you got the wrong guy, but he said, fuck it. No, you guys must not know me. I'm not the talkative guy, but I'll do it.
But even before you jump in, even to your point about humility, like, did you see the introductions when they're being introduced and everyone's waving and doing all that, and they introduce him as the starter? He doesn't even stop. He finally does it at the end to even acknowledge that they called his name, because he's getting like the scouting report from the Yankees guy of the game. Like of an all-star game, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, all right."
Yeah, he was in the bullpen, and the guy had to tell him to wave too. He's like, "Oh, hey,
he's breaking down. All right, what are we doing against Ohtani again and Acuna? What do you want me to throw there?" He's just he's a gem.
He deserves it. He deserves all of that. That's the other part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone's finding out his story, and the fact that he was a third rounder and scouts didn't even believe he'd really profile out as a catcher. They were going to go first base or wherever else. And the fact that all that stuff that you hear about during this week, he was cut from his middle school team and he struggled mightily. And we all saw him come up in 2021. Was it 2020, 2021? And to see where he's at now, it's unbelievable. I mean, look at the things that we were thinking during the home run derby alone. We were like debating the merits of whether he should hit right-handed or left-handed. You know what I mean? Like, it's absurd. It's like the embarrassment of riches that Mariner fans have with this guy. And again, I cannot think of a more diametrically opposed set of circumstances than what ownership deserves and what the fans deserve. The fans absolutely deserve Cal Raleigh, and the ownership, contract extension at all, they don't deserve this guy. I mean, they've already gotten so much more out of him. It's almost backfired in a way, because now people are going to be like, what are you going to put around Cal Raleigh now? What other pieces are you going to add to Cal Raleigh, who's carried your offense? It almost backfired on this ownership group, because as we know, this ownership group has never been proactive in their life. They're always reactive. It's, okay, we're in pseudo position at the deadline. Let's scramble and come up with something, piss on your leg and tell you it's raining. Ooh, look, Josh Rojas. Oh, look at that. Justin Turner.
Okay.
You know, like Josh Rojas.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is, it's like it almost in a way backfired on them, because now it's like everyone's going to be like, okay, cool. Now what you got? I mean, far be it from the Mariners to actually go for it at, I don't know, during the off season, maybe at the start of the year, maybe banking those wins early in the year might be worth the exact same amount they would be at the end of the year.
But whatever he heard, though, he was sold. Like you sent the article. I mean, that past an article that he wrote about him. You know, he signed it. Now, again, maybe whatever he heard is Passan writes in that story. If no one's read the story yet, if you haven't read the story, Jeff Passan wrote a story on it. And it came out. It's long, but it's great. It's a great story. But he says, I mean, did he sign the contract? Was it 2 or 3 days after he met with Hollander and DePoto in that spring training up in that suite? And he heard, and he had not a Rolodex, but a bunch of questions he wanted to know that he written down, that he wanted to know where the organization was going, players, prospects, trades, all of
direction.
It, all
direction. Yeah.
So he must have felt satisfied, whatever he heard from those guys, and been like, all right,
well,
I'm in.
Being satisfied with an answer and actually having the organization follow through on the answer are two different things, because in that article, to get back to reference it, he was asking specifically about re-upping with the guys in this rotation. And unless this team all of a sudden is going to somehow completely change directions, come on, is this team really going to re-up with all those guys? Are they going to keep both George Kirby and Logan Gilbert? Really? I mean, then Wu, then Miller. If Miller gets, through his arm trouble, like the starting pitching market, I mean, you can do the math and figure out what the future holds. Like, so they may have said anything possible to try and convince him. Whether they follow through on that is a completely different story. So I think it's great that he got the answers he wanted. Now it's time for the organization to show him, and they haven't done that with anyone ever. This organization has been an unmitigated joke in terms of adding pieces, retaining a lot of its talent. Remember, the guy that they're rumored to trade for, they decided to slash payroll and save $9 million. And they should have had Gino Suarez this whole time. But they decided that they were going to make a rash decision in a very quick moment to save a few $1 million off the ledger. I mean, remember who this organization is that are making all these promises to Cal Raleigh.
To play devil's advocate here for a second, though, they did play Julio. They just paid Cal. What if their business model is, we're going to pay our own and not, and again, I agree with everything that you said. I mean, they've never shown it that their willingness to go spend outside the organization. But what if their part of their business plan is, we'll spend it on the guys that we've acquired, we've homegrown talent.
That sounds great. Every one of their guys in the rotation outside of Luis Castillo is homegrown. And when you start adding the dollars on the open market as it pertains to starting pitching, that sounds like a super cool idea in practice, in theory, but not in practice. But we'll see. I could be wrong, and the Mariners might re-sign every one of those guys in the rotation that they brought up through the system and are succeeding, and not only succeeding, but at an all-star level in most cases.
Yeah.
Cal Raleigh didn't ask them specific names who they were going to re-sign. There's no way, because he's smarter than that, right? He's been in that clubhouse now for a few years, and he's smarter than that. That he's saying, "Are you going to re-sign Kirby? You're going to sign." That's not how he went about it.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure at all. But I'll tell you this:
I don't know what he didn't ask or not ask. I'm just saying, whatever he found out in that meeting, he felt satisfied to sign a contract 3 days later.
Right, but he's not going to be. Well, okay, so if he asked these names and they said, yes, we're going to try our asses off, and nothing in our history has said that they're going to sign all these guys. Another subject, Kirby's not signing here. I have a massive feeling he's not signing here. He's playing it out, and he is going somewhere, bigger market or wherever
New York. He's from New York.
We said the same thing about Cal. We said the same thing about Cal.
But
I didn't.
That's when
a lot of
he was represented. Right? That's when he was. The reason why everyone said that about Cal is because that's when he was represented by Boris.
Yeah, but he wasn't
And
really
then when-
represented by Boris, though.
What's
He was
that?
he wasn't really. He just worked under Boris's like umbrella.
Great.
But
Still,
the guy that the guy that left that started his own thing was his agent.
yes.
So I mean, that was his agent at the time. So I mean, just because he worked under the Boris umbrella,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of that was.
This is a unicorn situation. So I mean, unless they're going to get a similar type situation with these other guys, I will believe it when I see it. In terms of then re-upping with 1, 2, or more of those guys in that rotation, I'll believe it when I see it.
If you were those pitchers, though, why wouldn't you resign here? It's the best ballpark they're ever going to pitch in.
Maybe they want to win. Maybe they want to go to a team that will do more with their roster to win. Maybe they will go to a team that isn't afraid of one team in their division and somehow won't go after. Why?
Again, full episode of the Sports Pit, which is it's not lost on opinion on this one this week. It gets hot. There's a great topic in there about Cal Raleigh's season, and if they don't make the playoffs, what would that mean for Cal Raleigh's historic season? Differing opinions on that one. The full episode is up for Puck's Posse members on the Patreon site. So just go to pucksports.com. That's the best way to go there. Pucksports.com. Sign up to be a member, and you will get the full hour-long show of that one. Now, when we do the full show, by the way, it's just an audio format. All right, and we just agreed to that. So that's what we're doing. But we get into more in Cal Raleigh, his season, and the balance between it honoring a great historic season and then comparing it into the context of the team and how the team is doing. And does it take away at all if the team doesn't find success based on what the individual is doing? But great stuff there at the end, just about Cal and ownership not deserving Cal Raleigh. And God, there's obviously some truth to that. And it's fascinating. And none of us know what that meeting was between the two, between the three. It was Cal Raleigh and Justin Hollander and Jerry DiPoto. If you read the Jeff Passan article, that it was days after that they ended up agreeing to the contract. Great stuff there from Steve Sandmyer and Matt Stretch Johnson. Again, full Sports Pit this week for Puck's Posse members. Sign up today at pucksports.com. All right, let's wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company. Lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. I don't know if I would agree that George Kirby's 100% out. I have no idea. But again, no one has an idea. It's just an opinion. I would agree with the thought process. Can they re-sign all of them? Probably not. No, that's a lot of money and wouldn't be cost effective to sign all of them. Cade Anderson was selected 3rd overall for a reason, because he'll be ready and available probably pretty quick. There's a reason why with their 2nd pick, they ended up drafting a college catcher, because, they're probably going to do everything they can to end up to moving Harry Ford. I think the one thing that you look at this deadline have got to ask yourself is, what is the mentality of Jerry DiPoto as he gets closer to the deadline? Does he make a deal based on it's the best thing right now for the Seattle Mariners, whatever deal he makes? Or does he make a deal going into it? What's the best thing for Jerry DiPoto to keep his job? Now, I guess they both can be the same, right? Whatever's best for Jerry DiPoto is the best for the Seattle Mariners. But does he get more aggressive than he has in years past because of maybe some uncertain job security? Now, I agree with Divish. He said it earlier. I don't think he has uncertainty with his job. I think he's well liked with this ownership group. And even if they don't make the playoffs, I think he'll be back. I do. So I don't think he'll over gamble himself at the deadline to make a move. He has, and you will hear it in the full Ryan Divish interview. He has traded away top prospects before. Luis Castillo, you're going to go look up the deal. But there's some thought that maybe he wouldn't do it again this year. We'll see what the market bears out. It is going to be a fascinating next 2 weeks. Fascinating. There's so many teams still vying for a spot, including them. And they've got 2 paths, wild card and still very much the division in play. How aggressive? That's the question the next 2 weeks for everyone. How aggressive does Jerry Dipoto get? That's Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. Thanks for everyone watching and listening today. Lots of stuff today. Thank you to our sponsors, Lindbeck Lumber, Chalet Bowl, Restoration One. Today's Daily Punch Up, full show up on YouTube, plus the limited Sports Pit Light is up on YouTube there as well. The audio versions, full Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, pucksports.com. You can get the full versions of the Ryan Divish Show and the Sports Pit if you sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. $5 a month. You support all the free content, VIP, and exclusive content as well. You get everything when you sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. Divish, Sports Pit, Mitchie the Kid on Thursdays. He appears in the live show, and then once that's over, it will just for Pucks Posse members. And, of course, now we produce the Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, which you can find on YouTube and all podcast platforms. All right, that's it. That's my spiel. Everybody stay cool today. Stay cool. It's going to be a warm one today. We'll see you tomorrow in case we don't melt on a Thursday's edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!